All right. Welcome in. So, in today's video, I want to go over how to run a world-class onboarding call. And I think this is extremely overlooked within the industry. And chances are, if you're having any issues with clients that are not participating, not engaging, not sharing their wins, not getting results, not showing up to group calls, anything like that, chances are it's related to your onboarding process and you not setting clear expectations from the get-go. And specifically, if you're having a big issue with churn, this is where it comes from. So let's dive right in and solve this. And I'm going to give you guys my entire script, if you will, top to bottom. You can implement this right now. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment section. But let's dive right in. So a couple side notes before we dive into the actual flow of the call. First thing, this is a need to have, not a want to have. As I mentioned, this is honestly, in my opinion, the most important call that these people will have in their entire time with you. It's a first impression, basically. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, this kind of goes into the first. It sets the frame for their entire time in the program. Extremely important, right? Third piece, you must have a top-notch sales to client success, communication, and handoff. Too many times, the closer's here and the CSM or the client success department or the founder, whoever it is managing the clients, is over here. And there's this huge gap, and we need to bridge that, because what happens is the closer, number one, the client success manager doesn't know what was promised on the sales call. So that's the first issue, right? So if there's a guarantee or something like that, they're unaware of it. The second piece is the client can feel when there's that gap. And that's the last thing you want them to feel when they just paid you anywhere between $2,000 to $25,000, right? So very, very keen. Your closer and your CSM need to be best friends. Simple as that. Third piece, the onboarding form from client or closer. You need to be collecting some sort of information when you intake clients. The reason why that this is so important is so we can get a very clear picture of exactly where they're at. Now, like I said, this can either be from the client or from the closer. I would suggest, if your team is operating at a very smooth and efficient rate right now, I would have the closer do it. Reason why is because chances are a lot of the questions that were asked on the sales call during discovery are going to be asked on that onboarding form. And the number one thing we don't want our clients to do in the onboarding is have to repeat information, because that shows lack of credibility, lack of trust, and lack of team communication, right? So that's the thing with that. Now, if you don't trust your closer or you're still getting them ramped up or something, have the client fill out the form. But it's very important to get the clear picture of where they're at. This way, when you go to do your client success interview, you can just pull that up again, and you can just simply read from that. So when you came into the program, just correct me if I'm wrong, you were here, and here. You wanted to get here, and the biggest challenge you were facing was this. Yes. Boom. Money. Save yourself some time. Next thing, immediate access to all platforms. No ifs, ands, or buts. They should never be waiting for any access. It's like, think about when you go to let's say the grocery store, and you go to buy groceries and you check out. Imagine if they took that and said, yeah, you can come pick it up tomorrow. You'd be like, what? Like, no, I just paid you. Like, I'm taking this home with me. Same concept here. Give them what they paid for, right? At least the basis of it, the resources, the school, Slack, Trainerize, TrueCoach, whatever it is, or whatever tech that you have, add them to it right then and there, either on the sales call or set up an automation, which if you want, I can show you guys how to do so. Drop a comment if you want to see that. Last piece, time to value has to be as fast as possible. You have to be thinking, how can I get these clients quick wins? Because quick wins breed momentum, and momentum breeds buy-in long term, and that breeds retention, more money spent with you, and better results. So those are my side notes before we dive in. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the flow. So, right, in red, I have the sales call here. So on this sales call, after the payment, right, payment's collected, contract sent, school invite is sent, or whatever access is sent, and then what you're going to do is you're going to book the onboarding call on that call, on the sales call. Too many times I see people, they close people, and what happens is, excuse me, I'm talking to my camera over here. I have two going right now, so I apologize. But too many times I see people send all the access, all these crazy links, all these next steps, documents, PDFs, everything. And what happens is a client gets overwhelmed after the big purchase, and this just reinforces their objections on the call that they maybe can't do this, right? There's fear, and you're just feeding into that fear now after they purchased. And so what happens is you'll see them turn around and be like, I just can't do this anymore. Finances are too tight. Like, I thought about it. I talked to my wife, and then they pull out like first 2 weeks. It's because they're overloaded. There's no clarity. And so by simply booking the onboarding call from the previous call, they have something to look forward to. It sets a deadline. It sets very clear expectations of when the next steps need to be completed by, right? So very, very important, and it's such a minor thing. Like, do not miss out on this. I'm telling you, book your onboarding calls from your closing calls. No ifs, ands, or buts. Don't just send them a Calendly link. Last piece. Onboarding form, as we talked about, is submitted by the closer, or onboarding form is sent to the client. Either one, right? But we talked about that. So now you have the onboarding call. Keynote here: onboarding calls should always be booked maximum 3 days out, ideally within 24 to 48 hours. The goal for this is to hit the ground running and eliminate any buyer's remorse. And we have to do that as fast as possible. We can't give them a chance to think. We need to jump right in and start moving 100 miles an hour and start getting them quick wins. 24 to 48 hours, ideally, no more than 3 days. If you're sending them a link for some reason, if you don't want to listen to me and you're sending them a link, then my suggestion to you would be make sure it's blocked off and they can't book more than 3 days out. So that's that. All right, we jump on the onboarding call. This is what it looks like. This is my flow. I have done over 500 onboarding calls, maybe a little more than that. So this is like my bread and butter, if you will. So first thing, it's very similar feel to a sales call. You'll notice that when I dive in. But first thing, hey, how's it going? How's your week going so far? Just something to open up. The goal is to disarm them, right? Let the guard down, probably a little pressure. Some people come in and they're usually like, they can be chill, but some people come in and they're like super tense and they just got all this information. They just paid all this money, their mind's spinning. So disarm them, like, hey, can you hear me? Can you see me? Like, you all good? Oh, cool. How was the weekend, man? Oh, it's good, data. Key thing with this, keep it short, because if you let it get out of control here, and you guys start going back and forth, like, oh, where are you from? Oh, Tampa. Oh, my cousin's in Tampa. And you lose control of the call, and you also lose your authority on the call. Don't let that slip. Keep it short, keep it sweet. How's the weekend going so far? Oh, it's not bad. I got to spend some time today. It's awesome, man. Right? Then we go to the next thing. So, like I said, keep it short and to the point to ensure that the call efficiency. These should be like 30-minute calls. I can do mine in about 15 and nail it. 10 out of 10. Great feedback. Best onboarding I've ever had, people say. So, next thing is frame. So, hey, how's it going, right? Chop it up. You disarm them. Cool. So, my name is Dawson. I'm the Client Success Director here at Blank. Ultimately, man, I just want to jump on with you. I want to walk you through all the resources that you now have access to, how to get support, and some very clear next steps, along with a big overview of the program to make sure that you understand exactly what we're going to dive into and how we're going to get you to. Super important here. Insert their goal very specifically. And how you know this is from the onboarding form that the closer or the client submitted. Why are they here? That subtle, like that little subtle, you mentioning their very specific goal, and I'm going to show you how to get to, instead of saying your goals, and you insert their goal, their custom goal, in their mind subconsciously, that's breeding so much trust, so much. They won't even realize they're thinking it. But the fact that you guys have never exchanged words, you guys have never spoke before, excuse me, holy cow. Shout out Nikola Milanovic, appointment setting coach, blowing up my phone right now, ruining my video. So, Nikola, if you're watching this, bro, Knock it off. Oh my goodness. No more. All right. I got to turn my DND on here. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. All right. There we go. Nicola, you're done, brother. No more messaging. I'm blocking you. It's the third time you've ruined a YouTube video for me. Anyways. All right. You're going to set the frame. Like I said, though, key point, like subconsciously, you're going to build so much trust by simply mentioning their very specific goal. So throw that in there. It's so good. I promise you. And they won't even know you're like, they won't even catch on to what's going on. So introduce yourself, who you are and your role within the business, set the frame for the call. And this kind of goes together. Explain the purpose of the call. Like set the tone. What are we going to get done today? What's the objective? And then if you go through all that, then you and the client both feel like you guys got something accomplished. You accomplished what the point was, right? Or what the goal was. So, cool. Next thing, background info. Go back, have their onboarding form pulled up on the screen, briefly touch on their current state and their desired outcomes. Like I said, utilize info from the onboarding form, and it builds credibility when the info is passed properly. So, what this would look like in practice, right? So my name's Dawson, like going back to frame here. My name's Dawson. I'm the client success director. Ultimately, just want to walk you through, this is short and sweet, by the way. I just want to walk you through all the resources, support, and next steps, right? Whatever. So this is something that I learned. I spoke with, insert your closer name. Our closer's name is Matthias. So I spoke with Matthias last night, and he mentioned you were looking to go from here to here, and the biggest challenge for you has been X, Y, or Z. Confirm it with them. Don't ask them, because when you ask them, you're just opening up this door for them to ramble. I did this before. I'd ask them what got them to jump in, and they would talk for like 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, I don't have time for that. We don't have time to go over that. And also, too, like I said, it builds credibility when you pass that information back and forth. So with that being said, you're going to review their current status, where they're looking to go, right? Background info, get confirmation from them. Yeah, perfect. Cool. You're getting like little yeses, and those little yeses are ultimately subconsciously building trust in their mind. So next thing, game plan, strategy. Jump into roadmap. So front-facing roadmap, super, super important. If you guys don't have one of those, let me know. Maybe I'll make a video on how to make one and what it looks like. But front-facing client roadmap, the kind of outline for that is it shows the key phases of the program, so no nitty-gritty steps, and about how long they take. Front-facing roadmap just gives them clear overview of exactly how they're going to get from X to Y. Next thing, give them a high-level overview of what will be taking place over the next few months. That's what the roadmap's for, and then you walk them through that. So I start with a high-level overview, and then I go down into the nitty-gritty next steps. That's kind of the idea. So you need them to buy into the entire journey starting now. That's why I showcase the big picture, right? That's what I'm showing them in this stage here. Then I'm going to dive into the resources. What did you just purchase, basically? So provide full rundown, community discussion, calendars, Q&As, classroom page, wins channel, highlight the value of the product. The main point that I want you to take home here, though, is when you're showcasing when you're showcasing the resources on the onboarding call, showcase not only the features, but the benefits. Let me repeat that. When you're running an onboarding call, the most important thing is to showcase the benefits, not the features of your product. So with that being said, don't just say, here's the group calls, and this one's on this one's on that. People don't care. What you need to do is you need to tie that call or anything that you're talking about into their end goal. And so what that looks like. So we have our group calls on Monday. Every Monday we jump in, we dive into ads and content. Those are the features, the benefits, right? Now we got to tie it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into creating the strongest hooks possible, which ultimately make your ads perform better, so we can get you cranking right away and we can get you to that 50K a month as fast as possible. So, and then here's another key point. You want to showcase what your best, like quote unquote, what your highest value clients, what your best clients are doing. And you want to get them in alignment with this. And so how you do that is like, and what we find too with these group calls is the clients that get the results the fastest, the thing they want most, they want results the fastest. The clients that get the results the fastest are on these calls every single week, and they get so much value from them. Bang. They want the results as fast as possible, right? How do I get that? Join the group call. Same thing with sharing their wins. What we find is our most successful clients, they share their wins on a weekly basis just to hold themselves accountable to making sure that they're making progress every week. Money. Anyways, showcase the resources. Showcase the support. So you're going to teach them how to get help. Teach them how to treat you. So if you don't like one-on-one Slack messages, which I would really avoid, then you need to teach them that that's not going to fly. And so the second part to that is you have to have resources in place. So FAQ sheet, group calls, community channels, any other modules, stuff like that. You have to have the resources there, or else you can't tell them to fuck off, right? So with that being said, what you need to do, though, is you need to show them how to get resourceful. So when you get stuck, first thing I want you to look at is going to be that FAQ sheet. If it's not in there, drop it in the community. The reason why it's important to drop it in the community is because not only will I give you a response and give you feedback or answer your question, but chances are someone has a similar question, so everyone can get value from it. So, right? Teach them how to treat you. And you have to reinforce this, though, after the call. You have to continue to reinforce this idea that you can't do whatever you want. You have to get resourceful. And so if someone DMs me, right, and they're like, hey, I'm struggling with this specific thing. Okay, drop it in the channel and I'll get back to you. The reason why, and once again, reinforce this, the reason why is so that not only I can give you feedback, but the other clients I'm sure would have some very valuable insight as well. Reinforce it. After the second or third time, they won't message you again. So, almost there. Provide clear next steps, assign them the homework, reiterate why we're having them to complete it and how it ties into getting them to the desired outcome. Once again, don't talk about the features, talk about the benefits and how it ties into their goal. So ensure they have full clarity, need to remove all thinking and allow them to just take action. If you could remove all thinking for your clients and just allow them to take action, I guarantee you would get 10 times better results, 10 times faster. So, last piece, as I talked about down on the bottom, book your next call. So if you're onboarding someone and you're putting them with another coach, someone else that they haven't spoke to yet, you have to edify the person that's going to be leading them during this journey. And the closer, to go back, the closer has to, if the closer is not doing the onboarding and it's someone new, the closer has to edify the next person in line, and then that person edifies the next person in line. What do I mean by edify? You hype the shit out of them. They are 10 times more qualified. Like, for example, I'd be like, you're going to speak with John. John is the best XYZ. Like, make him sound cooler than me. And people want to talk to him. It builds trust right off the rip. If you just say, oh, yeah, you're going to speak with John. Who the fuck is John? Why should I listen to him? I want to talk to you. Or maybe I don't want to talk to you, right? So, like, edify. You need to instill as much confidence as possible, and you're going to get verbal commitment that the assignments will be completed by the time of the call. So those next steps, the initial steps, whatever you want to call it, you need to get verbal commitment. When you get verbal commitment, it just ties it down one last time. It's like a sales goal. Questions? Any outstanding questions? Do a temperature check to see how they're feeling. I'll get to that in a second. And then offer them support if needed after the call. What I mean by that is just simply hit them up with like a voice note or, maybe another message is, hey, great to meet you today. Super stoked to have you on board. If you notice they're a little iffy, just like reinforce it after. But to do a temp check, I always ask, I go, so how you feeling? You ready to rock? You can gauge right there. Like, you can tell. Even if they say, oh yeah, like I'm ready to go. I call that out. Don't just push it over. Call it out. Like, dude, like, you don't sound like it. What's up? Like, is there something that you feel like I missed? Like, what's on your mind? And nail that. Like, clear the air. Make sure they're going in full force, fully focused, ready to rock. And so don't just push it under the rug if you notice their energy is low on the onboarding call. Tap into it, call it out, and help them out. And I promise you, they will do so much better if you can nail this onboarding call. Your clients will get better results faster. They'll spend more time with you, spend more money with you. It's so important. It's a first impression. So hope you guys found this useful. If you did, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next how-to video.